All right, so now we're going to move on to more intervals. Today we're going to be covering our sixths, our sevenths, and our eighths. So let's look again at what type of intervals we have. We have generic and specific intervals. So again, generic intervals are measured by staff position, and specific intervals are measured not only by staff position but also by the amount of half steps on the keyboard between the two pitches. With specific intervals, we have four qualities. We have major, minor, augmented, and diminished. Now, if you have a major interval, you can turn it into a minor interval by lowering it by 1/2 step. Augmented intervals, you can take a major interval and add a 1/2 step to it to augment it. And then with diminished intervals, you can take a minor interval and take away a 1/2 step to diminish it, make it smaller. So those are the four qualities. So now let's look at our sixths. So we generally see two types of sixths, major and minor sixths. So major sixth is a generic sixth on the staff, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On a keyboard, in order to make it a major sixth, there have to be 9 half steps. So let's start on middle C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like my body lies over the ocean. That is a major sixth. Looking at a minor sixth, it's a major sixth, but remember, you can make a major interval into a minor interval by lowering it by a 1/2 step. So instead of 9 half steps, it's now 8 half steps. It's still a generic sixth. If you take away the accidental, it's still a sixth, but because we're getting into specifics, we're acknowledging the flat there, and we know it's a minor sixth. Count the half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do, re. I think it's like the Doctor Who theme. So there's that. So those are our sixth. So now let's look at our sevenths. Let's ever so gently erase what's on the staff. Oh, take that away. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So, sevenths. All right, so a major seventh is a generic seventh, and it uses 11 half steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's so close to a perfect octave, just 1/2 step short. That's why it sounds so crunchy. But hey, you can make a seventh interval sound a little less crunchy by adding some stuff in it, like turn that into a seventh chord, if you will. So the solfege that we use here is Do, Ti. Do, Ti. And that Ti, that's what we call a leading tone because it leads you to Do, Ti. Crunch on there for you. All right, so now moving on to a minor seventh. That is a generic seventh. but it's 10.5 steps. 10 half steps in between. So, shoof. That would be a B flat from middle C. Do, take, not take, but take. So right there. And if you've ever watched a West Side Story, there's a place for us, somewhere a place for us. So that is a minor seventh. Let's just count it really quick. So it's 10 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easy, right? So major seventh versus a minor seventh. Okay, now on to our final interval that we'll be covering. The eighth. This one is pretty simple. Okay. So an eighth, or a octave, is referred to as perfect. So it's a perfect octave eighth. So that means C to C. It is a generic eighth on the step, and it is 12 half steps on the keyboard. Do to do. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do, do. So yeah, that's pretty much all the intervals we're going to be covering in our class sessions. All our minors, majors, perfects, augmented, diminished. That's pretty much all we're going to be doing. Hope this helps.